sometimes I feel like just can't make this stuff up. This is kind of too crazy for anyone to kind of comprehend a mistake of this magnitude. And it was a huge, huge, huge mistake. Seems like Guitar Center just can't catch a break. Every turn they make, it seems like somebody in that company just makes a stupid decision and no one is checking their work before they actually do something with it. I recently saw the interview with Phil McKnight and the CEO, and he seems like a nice guy. Seems like he genuinely believes and wants to do the right thing. And I do hope he can turn it around, because most of us, I have given up on Guitar Center. I've just given up. They burned too many bridges with me. So recently, very recently, Guitar Center puts UAD's Ultimate Bundle on sale. Now, what's the Ultimate Bundle? It's every DSP plugin they sell. Every one of them. You know how much that normally sells for? Around 10 grand. Well, first, you got to ask yourself, who's spending 10 grand on the Ultimate UAD Bundle? Today, maybe if you did it 10 years ago, okay. But today you're doing that? You got to be crazy. No freaking way. No freaking way. You just don't need DSP anymore. Okay? Most people don't. Some of you do, but most people don't. So anyway, they decide to do a promotion, right? And so in this promotion, Guitar Center publishes it to be sold for $69. Give or take a couple bucks. $69. Guitar Center puts a $10,000 Ultimate Bundle on sale for $69. Now, you first could look at it and say, okay, UAD's finally realized that nobody really wants to get into their DSP aspect of anything anymore, and they're all going native, because they are good plugins, okay? I'll give them that. But they're going native, and maybe they're just trying to do a blowout of these, and maybe they're going to phase them out over the next few years. I don't know. Anyway, so a lot of people saw that. A lot of Guitar Center customers, through word of mouth, it was all over Reddit and other places, hey, go grab your copy of the UAD Ultimate Bundle for $69. And a bunch of people did that. And then all of a sudden, guess what happened? They all, but no, that was a mistake. We're not going to honor that. So Guitar Center says, we're not going to honor that. Then UAD comes in and says, we're not going to honor that. Now, wait a minute here. No, wait a minute. I understand a big mistake was made. And most likely, I'm guessing this is strictly on Guitar Center's part, not Universal Audio. But a mistake was made. And you got to do the right thing, whether you like it or not. Simply whether you like it or not. UAD, if you want to charge Guitar Center the cost of this, and Guitar Center bite the bullet on this huge mistake, then okay. But they're not honoring it. Now, I can't confirm this next part. I cannot confirm this next part. And I have a hard time believing it's accurate. But there's a lot of discussion online saying Guitar Center's not only not going to honor it, they're not going to give you your money back. I don't see how that's possible. So that's got to be wrong. So if you're reading that, I would really be suspect, because I am. But anyway, it's out there if you could Google this stuff. What happens when you go into a clothing store and you find a shirt that is marked, that normally sells for $100, let's say. I'm not buying $100 shirts, but maybe you are. But let's say it sells for $100, right? And somehow it got mismarked down to $19.99. What's that store going to do? They're going to honor it. They're going to honor it. They're probably going to immediately send their staff over to do a double check and everything to make sure there's no other mislabeled pieces and get that corrected. But they're going to honor it. They're going to take that loss. I understand this is a big loss. I understand it's huge. It's substantial. But still, something needs to be done that's the right thing. And I think it should be a combination of a partnership between UAD and Guitar Center. Whether or not they give the whole $10,000 bundle everything or not, maybe that's asking for too much, and it probably is. But they should probably be doing something to put a good foot forward, because we don't know how this was communicated in the background. But you've got to ask yourself, who in the world is checking the work of some people? How is it possible that you can actually make a mistake so huge and no one get it? Are there no checks and balances? Did the person who made that change, do they not have a boss that goes back and confirms that? Do they not have an entire team that verifies the sale prices being indicated either online or in the store are accurate, so someone else can catch that mistake before it actually gets out to the general public? Man, if you've been operating a business that long and you don't have that infrastructure in place, then I don't know what to tell you, because that's absolute insanity. That is absolute insanity, as is proof in this. So, it's unfortunate to all the people who ordered it, right? Who felt like they got a great deal. Something's coming back to me. I remember once, there's a website I've always followed called slickdeals.net. And what it's doing is finding all the different sales of items and the things that you're interested in, and puts them on a web page so you can see they're on sale and whether or not you want to buy them or not. Well, one time I saw AC/DC's entire collection, every single song, every single album on sale for, get this, 99 cents. 99 cents. And I bought it for 99 cents, and guess what? I've still got it to this day. Now, I didn't rip anybody off, okay? I bought it for what it was selling for. But then right after that, very quickly, you saw that sale go away. It was no longer published online, and they did away with it. But they honored it. They didn't try to do this backdoor stuff saying, wait a minute here, we can't do this. What about corporate, integrity? What about the integrity of both of these companies? Where is that? Why are you not communicating with these people and offering a reasonable solution? I understand that the entire $10,000 bundle is probably not reasonable. For some people, they're going to think it is. It's not that purchaser's fault that you guys didn't get your act together. Who's responsible for it? I don't know. But there should be some level of checks and balances, like I said. It's really kind of mind-blowing that this could happen, especially today. We're way beyond the days of getting a little gun or whatever, and you're swiping the sticker on the sale of the item in the store, okay? That just really doesn't happen anymore. It's all barcode. It's all digital. It's all tracked and so you inventoried and stock in and stock out and all that stuff. It's all interrelated today. So I don't understand how a mistake like this can be made, but it was a mistake. But you know what you got to do when you make a mistake? You got to make it right. You've got to make it right. Let's just say somebody came in here for me to do some recording for them, right? And for whatever reason, the hard drive that session went down on went bad on me. And I was so stupid I didn't have it backed up. Now, that's not going to happen to me because I have 3 levels of backup, but that's a discussion for another day. But let's just say that happens. Is a band out of luck? Or is the studio out of luck? The studio's out of luck. In that situation, I had to bring them back. I don't care how much time I spent with them. Let's say I spent an entire week of my time. And my time is money, right? Your time is money. Everybody's time is money. But doing the right thing means you got to go back and do it again, because it's not that band's fault that I screwed up. It's my fault, and I've got to make it right. I'm going to give you a perfect example, right? A perfect example. I make custom desktop enclosures. You can go to www.artisanwoodshed.com, www.artisanwoodshed.com. I offer a lot of enclosures that really put these things at a 15-degree angle. They make them look beautiful in your studio, as well as make them perfect to work with. So go to that website and check out. I'm going to be doing some stuff with 3D printing for more economical versions to get into it. They won't involve wood or something like that, but that's all going to be rolling out over the next 30 days. So go check that out if you're interested in doing that. I've had nothing but 5-star reviews along the way. But as a matter of fact, I shipped out an old original version for SoftTube's Console 1. No, I'm sorry. It was PreSonus's Fade Report. I shipped out the older version that I wasn't happy with, and I ultimately changed it. And when I realized I shipped out the wrong version of it that I was no longer planning to do, I was just going to throw that stuff away and not go with it. It's functional, but it didn't line up properly and things like that. And then I realized it once it shipped, and I contacted the customer and I said, look, I'm really sorry. I shipped you an older version, and I've got to do the right thing for this company. I don't care if I take a loss. I've got to do the right thing, and I'm not proud of what I sent you, even though it's going to be perfectly functional, but it doesn't represent who I am and who my business is. And so I'm going to make another one for you and send it to you. That box is sitting on my counter in my kitchen that I'm going to ship today. My expense, I'm paying for shipping. I paid for the cost, obviously the material cost, as well as my labor and my time. But I'm going to do the right thing because the work that I do represents who I am and the quality that I offer. And there's a reason I have done nothing but 5-star reviews by everybody. It's because of that way of thinking. That way of thinking. Why couldn't they be doing that in this situation? At least making a valiant effort. So if you now have one more reason to never do business with Guitar Center again, this is potentially one of them. Only you can make that decision for you. If you only have one reason to have an issue with UAD, and it seems like they don't seem to be making an attempt whatsoever to try to rectify this situation, they're just saying, buddy, you're SOL. You're SOL. That's at least what everyone is saying online in all the forums who are pissed about this. So somebody needs to step up. There needs to be an announcement for both companies, and resolution must be come to, because you screwed up. Now fix it. Now fix it. It's not the customer's fault. You guys can't get your freaking act together. Until next time, have a great day. Bye-bye.